Hey guys, I want to make you a place command intro video. I'm going to use Roz as our demonstrator. Depending on how old your dog is or where you're starting, what your dog's temperament is, one of the easiest ways to get them to understand what you want is to reinforce good behavior and correct bad behavior. So if she had never done this before and I was just starting with her, I probably wouldn't correct her for the first several sessions. I would just reward the good behavior and guide her through the wrong behaviors. So I've got her on her leash and on her prong collar. Make sure that your dog is on something that they're comfortable with. I don't use harnesses for stuff like this because you're moving the dog's body around too much and they're not really making decisions themselves. And it's really hard to get their focus with a harness on because they're usually pulling right into it. So I've got her on her leash and her prong collar. Girl, Roz. Roz, break. Good. So there's a couple of different things that I'll use. I'll use her kibble. So I'm not going to use like hot dogs or anything like that. I'm going to use her kibble. So she has to earn her food. She's not getting it from a bowl. I'm going to use break to let her know she's all done. I'm going to use good to let her know that's the right thing to do. And place I would use to let her know that that's place. When you first start, if your dog has never done place before, make sure that they'll go on to whatever you're going to use for place first. So I might walk her up with the leash and guide her onto it and make sure she's comfortable with it. So if she had never been on one of these little cots before and she was like really freaking out, what you don't want to do is say place and then try to bring your dog up to it and they put on the brakes and they freak out. So what you're doing in that situation is you're saying place, freak out and try not to go on this object. So make sure that your dog can do it physically before you name it. Break. Good girl. So she's done it. I know she's comfortable with it. So what I want to do is lead her up to just before it. Make sure she's paying attention to me for what I want her to do. And then I'll give her the command before she goes on there. So just like if you're doing sit or down, you want to give her the word so she knows what you want her to do and then have her execute the behavior. So, Roz, place, good. As soon as she gets all 4 feet on there, and I'm going to give her a couple pieces of kibble right there. As soon as she gets all 4 feet on there, I don't care if she sits, lies down, stands up, whatever, I'm going to tell her good, and I might reward her if I'm using her kibble. You start slow. So the first couple sessions, you might only get them to do place for 10 seconds, if that. Place, good, and then break, and you lead them off. Break, good girl. Nice job, Roz. So you're going to build up your duration and your distractions. Let's go where everybody can see you, huh? So I'll bring her back over here. Good. Roz, place. Good. So you'll start standing right next to her. So it's not very distracting and it's not hard for her. Then, if you feel like your dog is doing really good with that, they go right to place and they're staying there for you to count to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Start to add minimal distractions. So a distraction can be this with the leash. A distraction can be taking 1 step away. Good. And then you might reward them and then release them. Or taking a step over here. Good. Over here. Good. And then you could release them. Roz, break. Good girl. Very good. And then do it again. So I try not to let them charge onto it. So after you do this a couple times, they figure the game out, especially if you're using a food reward. They figure out, oh, I gotta go over there, I gotta go over there. That's awesome. I like the enthusiasm, but I want to make sure she's not just jumping over there, oh, give me some food. I want to make sure it's when I say the word. Roz, place. Good. Then you could start having her stay on there longer. Maybe walk around her. Walk to the end of your leash. So these first couple of exercises, I never let go of the leash. Because what might happen, and I'll see if I can distract her enough to get her to do it, is she might say, she's going to come off. Leash pressure, put her back on. Good. When I do the leash pressure, I'll usually give her a no. Good girl. So if I do that again, which I'm kind of baiting her, which is totally fine, it's a good distraction for her. What I want is leash pressure to guide her back at the same time I say no. So I'll demonstrate that for you guys. No. Good. So she's gonna understand what no means. I'm not just gonna yell, no! I've got to pair it with something so she understands it. So I could say, no, 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 and then bring her back. But then it doesn't really mean anything. She just thinks that I'm flapping my yapper. So I've got to pair it with, no, wrong choice, go back to doing what you were doing. So then the next time, and the more that you practice this, get out of here, Kerrigan. The more that you practice this, the more she's going to, really, right now? Get away from the leash. The more you practice this, oh, kidding. The more you practice this, I'll see if I can get her to do it without the leash pressure this time. If I go to distract her, no. She says, oh yeah, I know what that no thing means. Wrong choice. I've got to go back to doing what I was doing. So that's initial stuff. And then you build up slowly but surely. You slowly add distance, distractions, and duration. So duration itself can be a distraction. If she has to stay there for 5 minutes, that can be distracting for her without anything going on around her, just by itself. Distance itself can be a distraction. The farther away from her I go, the harder it's going to be for her. And then real distractions like adding in walking out of sight, knocking on the door, tossing something past her, having other dogs or people around. Those are a lot more high-end distractions. So you got to build your way up to that. So when she first got here, I would have never done this with the kitten playing with the leash and then walk over here and knock on the door. I wouldn't have done that stuff. But she's getting to a point now where she's starting to understand it. Roz, down. Good girl. I know, that cat. So hopefully that gives you guys a good starting point. Roz was a very good demonstrator. And if you guys have any questions or you're wondering about anything with your dog that's maybe a little bit different than how I described it with Roz, go ahead and feel free to comment or ask the questions and let me know, and I'll be happy to help you guys try and figure it out. What's that kitty cat doing, Roz? She playing with your leash, distracting you? What are you doing, monster? What are you doing? What are you doing, huh? Leave my camera alone. Boo, 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 boo. Good job, Roz. Yeah, good. I know, that's a tough one, huh?